Previously on Finding Our Rhythm, the band navigated the technical complexities and personal dynamics of the recording studio, facing significant tests to their unity and creative vision. We dive deeper into each band member and motivations behind their music. Join us as we uncover the heartfelt stories that inspire their songs.
So there's been some roadblocks in our getting together as a group. I mean, when you've got that many creatives in a room, you're gonna naturally have moments where it's like, okay, that didn't work out. I think every one of us experienced not I'm done with this and I'm walking away, I'm never coming back. But I could go into detail, but I don't know how much detail the band would want me to go into. But I know at one point Derek had a time where he was kind of he sent a group message and was just like, guys, I forget how he worded it, but he said, I need to walk away I need to be done with this kind of thing. I can't remember the wording, but it shocked everyone because we all thought everything was fine. And that was kind of the biggest one. And that had already been, 3.5, 4 years in. There's
been a couple times, when people have had to just step away and before they say something, that they don't want to hurt somebody's, say the wrong thing and say something hurtful or something. So you might end the night early, bad jam night or something. And then you kind of sleep on it. And then over the next couple of days, kind of hash it out and talk and figure out what went wrong and understand where they're coming from. And hopefully they understand where you're coming from in the situation. And it doesn't happen often, but when it does, we're able to figure it out pretty quick. And when you love people, you're going to have, disagreements. And I think that's natural. But yeah, we've been able to sort it out and figure it out and make it work.
I think most of the conflicts that have come about in the band have been usually because people are going through hard things, in their personal life. So in the past 4 years, been a lot of loss, a lot of grief, and in some way that's touched all of us, people that we know in common, and just really, really hard times. And so you can see when someone's fuse is growing a little bit shorter, have a lot of grace for that, and just know when you know each other that well, you can read each other's body language, and you start to see, they're turning a bit inward, they're getting a bit agitated or a little bit more private. Try and give them some space. So usually it's never come to full out yelling and arguing. Usually it's someone gets a little silent, somebody turns in early, wraps it up, and you can tell there's maybe just that tension there. But it's usually always about something that they're going through. And I think we've each been in that position at one time or another.
January 2nd to 6th. And then I think February, March, we should do other.
And Derek went to Africa for 2 months, almost 3 months.
Yeah, Margaret would be good.
And then I was I thought he'd come.
Oh, he gets mixed up though. No. That's the one we actually had COVID.
That
was the one day. That was so good.
We all have this understanding that we love each other in the group. But I think that in the group, we haven't really fought a lot. And I think that's great. But when you're doing something so powerful as writing new music and getting stuff out and depending on people's and hoping for people's input into your songs, and their input that they're giving is not where you're seeing it, it creates some uneasiness, and because that's your baby, that's what you're writing, you're hearing something. Yes, you're open to different ideas on your songs and stuff, but if your idea is where you're seeing it, even though you don't fully see it and somebody else sees your song and it's not where you want it to be, you got to somehow shut that down without insulting the friend. Sometimes you waste a lot of time trying to be overly nice. Maybe sometimes it's just, you need to be it's hard because you love these people, but sometimes maybe you just need to be no, just, your idea is not where I see this song. It's hard to kind of do that with some of these people who have loved for years because you don't want to hurt them. You want to continue this thing that we have for as long as we can.
Wishing to steal the child when we sleep so the lights on. Dreaming of superpowers and jumping with your cape on. Turn bedrooms into castles with your paintbrush magic on.
like the closest thing to a pet peeve about a band member is when the songwriter has said, no, we're never playing that song again. And it's a song that all of the rest of us really enjoyed. But at the same time, you know, like I shared earlier, I think the level of respect that we have for each other is part of what gives us our creative edge. And you can't sacrifice that creative edge for one song. That was definitely one of the moments of higher levels of drama and tension where everybody kind of looked around at each other and went like, what is happening right now? For me, I was okay with it in that it's like, okay, Aaron, I'm disappointed, but okay, I'm okay with it. I know the number of other people in the band afterwards really wondered, like, did I do something to offend him? Did I piss him off? Was there something about a way that I sang that song that he didn't like or played that riff that he couldn't stand? And so there was a lot of people who went into this sort of internal monologue of self-doubt and thinking, am I at fault here? I think that was where a lot of the tension came from, is because everyone in the band cares about the other members of the band. That was a challenge that most of the people faced. I think a few people reached out to Aaron to make sure that they were getting out their own self-doubts and confirm that they were not the reason why Aaron was not wanting to play that song anymore. So on some level, that all worked out on an individual basis. And then there was a point where as a group, we talked about it, not necessarily Aaron's actual reasons, but all of the reasons that it wasn't, so there could be a clearing of air, and simply him asking for, guys, I really need this from you, that if I write a song, I need to know that I have your permission to say, if I don't ever want to play this song again, we have to be okay with that.
But are you guys friends enough to tell me, Aaron, maybe don't do the opera? Would you guys actually say that to me?
Yes, but we would tell you.
I'd tell you.
The stage of here, we would tell you here.
Yes.
Not after the song's out. In the public, on iTunes. We wouldn't say it then.
Also, if you were like, no, I'm doing this, guys, and I need you to back me up.
Then I'd be like,
I think we would.
Let's make the best opera Aaron can make. Yeah.
You're telling me
Rock opera.
you would okay, here's to your point actually. You would let me go out in front of everyone and fail, or would you just be like, no, I'm not.
Did I fail?
No.
What are you saying?
Okay, don't take. Okay.
No.
For me.
Again, it's art. You can't fail at it.
Just let it
You
go.
just put it out. And if you're like, no, this is my art. This is how I want it.
Okay, but for your song, you were upset afterwards that maybe I guess I'm jumping to conclusions here, but that I didn't say something sooner.
No.
Because I apologize for that.
No, I'm saying if you didn't like what you're saying, if when I was showing you guys initially, this is my song, and the whole time I played it for you, you never said anything like, hey, your voice sounds bad in this, and you didn't say anything then, but then after it's released, and then people, you know what, your pocket, that's not your pocket, you shouldn't have sung it that high, you should have sung it lower. I'm like, well, it's too late now, it's out. But if you had told me when I was first writing the song and first showing the song.
I hate saying that. Because it's your song.
I know. I know, but
Eric,
I liked how.
do you agree?
I think if we would have at all detected it wasn't good, we wouldn't have released it.
Yeah,
And I think it was a great song.
I liked how it sounded.
So I'm in the
Maybe it's not
95%
my
that
strongest
probably
key,
love this song.
But that's okay. That's okay to not have, and I'm fine with it. Is that my best song? No, it's not. And I know it's not.
I think
anytime you get like a group of 6 to 7 adults in a room that all have their own personalities and jobs and families, you're gonna, butt heads on some things. A lot of it, I would say, like one of our biggest problems is like timing, trying to find time to get together or having people like be on time, valuing the time once we're there. And I think there's sometimes a struggle between messing around and like fun aspect of it and trying to get things done and like I said, make the time be valuable and not just like we are friends hanging out. And that's ultimately it's one of the most important things for us. But it's also like now that we're kind of taking other steps, it's like really about, making our time mean something and getting through things. Because we all have families, we all have jobs, and it is hard to find the time to be together and like carve out this little safe space for us all to do this. So I'd say that's probably like just time and people being on time is one of the biggest things. Most of it, like a lot of the things I think I create in my own head because I'm like this anxious person. And I always think that like, oh, Aaron hates my song. Why doesn't he like it? But I think he's just like, he just thinks differently than I do and like internalizes things. And I'm kind of like Derek sometimes in like more is more. And like, I want everyone involved all the time. I want everyone singing, everyone playing. And Aaron's like, you only need to be like playing if it's like important to the song. Whereas I just like want everyone to be involved all the time. And so sometimes I take like him sitting out being like, he doesn't like my song. But again, it's just mostly my inner anxiety coming out.
How to resolve creative differences? Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I mean, we've been together 4 years, and during the pandemic, almost weekly, like we were kind of like our people, you know, we were the safe people, the safe space for one another. And so when you're together that much, you're not going to agree on a lot of things. And incredibly, I think we've gotten together quite well considering how much time we've spent together. There's a deep mutual respect and a deep appreciation for one each other. That being said, we have our quibbles and our little annoyances with each other and our differences in how we do it. I think a lot of the frustration comes with just a lack of time. I think if we could all win the lottery and quit our jobs and do this full time, it would help a lot. But that's not a feasible goal. So you just got to make it work around there. So as we become more comfortable doing this, we all want to have our voice be heard a little more. We all have that inner voice saying, man, I got this to share. And it's like I said in that story before, it's like the dam is burst and now the water's running clear and it's running with greater force and you just got to get it out. And we know when we come here, we can let that out. The concern is, how do we make sure everybody has their voice heard when you have this many people and this many views and not have anybody get left behind? And so when that happens, I think we just pull back and we talk like a married couple. My wife and I have been together 20 years and, you know, you can get through things and have annoyances and you know, a lot of the time it's not a big deal and you just kind of, you know, gloss over. But then there's moments where like, we got to stop and talk, right? And I think when you do that, you clear the air, you take a minute to understand and hear the other person. And I think that's been our method for pushing through. It's worked so far. I don't know if there's any right answer to it, but I think it comes out of a place that I care for all these people deeply. I want them to live their best life. I know they want me to live my best life. And when you're cheering for the other person, ultimately you're gonna want to see them succeed, and you might have to lay down something you might want at that moment, but you know that when you do that, they're gonna want to hear from you too, and they're going to hear your heart and your voice. And so I think doing it that way, we've all been able to eventually get to where we want to be. Nobody feels left behind, and if they said something different on their interview, then I feel bad because they feel that way, but they certainly are people that I'm cheering for and I want to hear from. So if they don't have that opportunity to share their voice, then I think we hit the brakes and we make sure that happens, because this is nothing without each other, so it's meaningless.
As the band members share their personal tales, they confront their vulnerabilities and joys that have shaped their musical expressions. The process of songwriting becomes an outlet for them, revealing deep bonds and sometimes hidden tensions. Each lyric and melody becomes a testament to their life experiences, reflecting their hopes, fears, and dreams.
I'll tell you one songwriting experience I had. Actually, I was sitting at my keyboard looking out the window, and we live in a forest. And I'm starting to write the song, Heaven is Real. And there was a big storm outside. It was getting dark, and I could see this gigantic bird on the top of a tree. And the trees are like swaying major, like they're going to break off. Like it was very windy. And this giant bird was hanging on the tree, and it was just like, whoa, just like he's still hanging on. And one of the lines in that song I wrote while watching that guy, because it's like he's going through the big storm and he's still okay. And one of the lines goes, he'll come back as an eagle, so strong and so regal. You're going away, you're going away. And the fact that, yeah, this bird is going through this massive windstorm, he's still hanging on the tree, but it wasn't like he was panicking. He was just kind of like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay still. And it's okay. Even if I die, it's okay. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but so my dad, one of his things he would say to me when he was first diagnosed, I'm going to live till I die. And I'm like, oh my God, Dad. And another thing he would say is, he would remind me that it's okay. I'm okay. I'm like, but you're not. It's not okay. He's like, I know, but it's okay. Like dying is part of living. Dying is part of living. I'm gonna cry. So, yeah, the songs are so on the surface, as you can tell. Even he's been dying, my dad's for 5 years, and I still cry about it. So to get those emotions out into a song means everything. And to have the people around me to help make that happen was amazing timing.
We don't have any plans to get together for anything other than music. It's something we like doing. Some of us do some biking, so we'll do that. Derek's got a great pool. We'll get together on occasion for just a backyard. But what we all like doing is music. So if we're all getting together at Derek's for the pool, someone's outside with the kids and then everyone else is sneaking back in to do some music. It just happens. To do anything else, why would we do anything else? It's the thing we like doing, so.
Outside the house, some of the people they'll hit the mountains together at some point usually. Derek usually organizes some kind of mountain trip with go boarding or skiing out in the mountains. Life is busy, so when we do have time to get together, it's usually playing music, and we build in time with it when we jam. Like it's not all business when we get together. We're often, having meals together, or taking breaks to just chat. Like some nights we barely play music because we're just talking all night, But we all have kids. Life is busy, so it's hard to actually find a lot of time outside of these days that we get together to spend a lot of time together.
This wasn't even a band thing, but we've made a point as a group to try to spend time together away from music as well. Clearly, music is what is the majority of our time together. A couple summers ago, we did a lot of mountain biking together, and we'd go out in the river valley, and some of the wipeouts that we'd have while we were pushing were a lot of fun. We take our kids doing these things too, right? A big part of the Kids Are Running Wild is it's not just about us playing music, it's about our families. And it shows itself somewhat in the name of our band, because while we're downstairs playing music, our kids have been just literally running wild upstairs. And what's been fun about it is it's not just been about us reconnecting as old friends. It's about watching our kids now form friendships of their own with each other. And our kids get really excited when we say, hey, we got band practice this weekend, because they get to hang out with their friends and they don't even really care what we're doing because they're going to be having their own fun with their buddies. And knowing that my kids get to form lifelong friendships with the children of my friends, for me, has been one of the most rewarding parts of Kids Are Running Wild.
There's been a lot of times bawling our faces off with Giselle, like me, Giselle, and Amy sitting together. I mean, she's been through the ringer with her dad's health and grief, and we all kind of within the band lost a really closely connected friend and partner and in the past couple years. And I think that was like a really difficult time with a lot of emotion. So I think that time of life sticks in my head as just like a time that was really sad for all of us, really heavy. But I do think of lots of just really fun times. This one time we decided we needed a vocal warm-up. And I don't know why, I think it was going around on TikTok at the time. And there was that song by Mika. However it goes. Anyways, and everyone was taking turns singing one. And so we decided Derek would stand in the middle of us and we would all stand in a circle and we would just go around and around faster and faster. We would all sing in funny voices. And by the end, we wanted to collapse laughing because it was just so stupid. And we were like, we should always do a vocal warm up, and it was, so I remember stuff like that for sure.
I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
Have I ever wanted to quit the group? I don't think so. I think it's a really cool thing, and I don't think I've ever wanted to. I've been frustrated. I just want to go home. I'm not being heard. The group is going down a completely different road that I want to be going on. Yeah, I've had those feelings. Lots. There's been moments where I was like, I don't know, I wish I could just create my own stuff, and we write really different stuff. But I think we complement each other enough where I think it's worth it for us to stick together. Yeah, there's been moments, 2.37 seconds of a beautiful evening that you wanted to leave. Not enough to make it happen.
We all lead very different lives. And so for us to come together really is the music. It is the music that brings us together. So we're a very eclectic group of people. We're an abstract painting. We're like this dissonant chord, but somehow together is beautiful, if that's a good one. And our styles are all different. I mean, everything Aaron plays is like this beautiful, soft, melodic guitar, very father heart kind of stuff. Giselle's got this Alanis Morissette kind of vibe, right? I could probably be in a German techno band if I were to do it, or all electronic synthy. Ray comes from a rock background, and so none of us should fit together. I mean, if you want to start a punk band, you get 3 punk band musicians and a punk singer, and you make music. If you want to start a quartet, you get 2 violinists, a bass player, and a cello player, and you all kind of do the quartet thing. None of us mash together that way. We're weird that way. But I think it's our strength. We can have heavy electric guitar with some beautiful acoustic guitar overlaid on some gospel choir, backing vocals with some piano, and then some rock drums come in, right? Or we might have a really cool synth loop that's running, and then have this very neat twist on some folk music that kind of plays together with it. So I don't think we've ever tried to fit into one type of music or style, but just let the voice of all the parts kind of become our style. And we're okay if there's stuff that people want to do that doesn't fit that style. Nobody owns each other's music or songs or talent. There's been times you've said, hey, Aaron, man, that song, just you and the guitar, if I did anything to that, I would wreck it. It would be terrible. And that's something that we might just record with Aaron, his guitar, and he did his one song at our show, and it was beautiful.
Looking forward, the band braces for their public's first reactions to their newly crafted songs. Stay tuned for the next episode of Finding Our Rhythm, where the band faces the ultimate test: how their music is received by an audience beyond the studio. Join us as we explore the impact of external validation on their artistic journey and see how they navigate the complex emotions that come with public critique. Witness as they continue to strive towards completing their album, each step revealing more about their art and themselves.
Places I run, you'll be there.